everyone. Welcome back to the 2K live stream room. My name is David Hinkle. I'm community manager who is lucky enough to be working on Firaxis Games titles. But today I'm extra lucky because I'm sitting here with my main man, Quill18. I don't know, is it main man status? I don't know. Maybe just kind of...
I'm an acceptable man. I'm a reasonable facsimile of a man. So there you go.
You know, we invited Quill out to check out the new Rising Tide, the expansion pack to Civilization Beyond Earth, which is launching this fall. And this is first hands-on demo, first time we've ever shown gameplay of the game. So it's very exciting stuff. And what I wanted to do today was kind of, you know, pull Quill in for a little bit, chat, kind of learn more about him, but also show you guys some of the new gameplay, and specifically Planetfall and the new faction we just revealed, the North Sea Alliance, led by Duncan Hughes. As you can see in our demo here, we're already set up with our capital, Deep Castle, which is right there on the water. As you can see, you can actually make Planetfall on the water. The North Sea Alliance is the only faction that can do this, and here we are, just living an aquatic life on this biome, the frigid biome, which is also another new thing we're showing off here. Now, so you've been playing for a little while today.
Yes, I have.
Well, maybe more than a little while. How are you faring so far? How are you enjoying the North Sea Alliance?
You know what's funny? We're going to talk about some, I think, of the mechanical differences between playing on land and on sea. And one of the things that happens in the sea, because of various reasons, there's a little bit less food, so you grow a little bit more slowly.
Right.
I always have huge problems with unhealthiness. And so it's great for me because now I'm not running into that cap as often. It's a really, really cool system in that it's not, as far as I can, so far, it's not just that the fact that the cities are in the water. They really do feel pretty different just because of a few small tweaks here and there that cause your gameplay to diverge a lot, I would say.
Yeah, it's and one thing I should note as we're kind of very early on in our play session here, this is obviously unfinished game. This is code that's still being worked on. Firaxis is still at the studio hammering away on the bits and the pixels, because that's how you make video games, right? And you know, so you might see a bug here or there, you might see a weird text string. Just a quick heads up about that. They're also working on doing doing their multiple balance passes right now, so some stuff that is in this demo will be changed in the final game. But you know, I'm really enjoying the Aquatic Cities. I you know, much to your point about the kind of growth, you know, not issues, but you know, it's slower growth, which is nice. It's more of a kind of careful pace, I would almost say. But for somebody like me, you know, who is also often very unhealthy, both in real life and in the game, it's, you know, it's kind of a nice way to play. I'm really enjoying the North Sea Alliance.
Well, what I think I like about the Aquatic Cities so far is there's a few new sort of I'd say like significant and interesting decisions that you have to make. One thing that changes pretty dramatically, I would say, is the settlement position of your city, because, well, the cities move and the borders don't grow via culture. So it completely changes my sort of internal AI about where I place cities and how I place them, because you sort of place them somewhere knowing they're not going to kind of end up being there in the future, which is really different than when do you move, how frequently do you move, because every time you move a city, you're losing X number of turns of production that could have been a unit or a building, but in exchange, you're grabbing 3 new tiles of territory, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the perks of the North Sea Alliance is that it's a lot easier for them to move cities on the water. You know, the production cost for, say, like Alphala or any of the base 8 sponsors is a lot higher than what you see with the North Sea Alliance. Oh, we just got some aliens here approaching us. I believe these are called Rippers.
Yeah.
And one of the things to note is not only do the aliens look different for each biome, we're playing on the new frigid biome here, newly revealed frigid biome. They don't not only look different, but they behave differently. So specifically on this map, I'm not sure what the exact trait is, but I know on other biomes, for example, one thing that Andrew Fredrickson, the lead producer of the game, told me, and I'm going to shoot this alien right away, because I'm a jerk like that. He told me sometimes the aliens, one biome in particular, the aliens will be quick to change their status, their relationship status with you. So they'll either hate you quicker or like you quicker, which I think is pretty interesting. So there is that variety, and I'm committing cardinal sin here by doing automated exploration. But it's early game, and I want to map. I want a good look at the map here.
We want to be able to see as much as we can very quickly.
So this is interesting. Have you checked out any? Have you found the Marvel yet? Have you done any of the Marvel quests?
Well, I don't think so. I have done the bits where you explore all the coral brains and the what is it, like the old buildings that you can find, which you don't do with explorers. You can do with any sort of military unit. You just show up there and you check out the place.
Yeah, it's like a unique action, a contextual action when you get onto that tile.
Right, but that's not the Marvel, I don't think.
No, so that's part of the quest towards it. Like this here is called the Hydrocoral Overmind, I believe. I hope I got that right. But you basically find these nodes throughout the map here, and by doing what you just said is, you know, put a unit on there, perform the action, and meeting the criteria for the quest, you'll actually unlock these nodes all throughout the map, and they provide visibility within a certain radius around them. So it's like free visibility if you haven't plotted the whole map yet, and it's nice to kind of see. I think this is one of those nodes there, actually.
Yeah, they come in different sizes. There's just the brain coral, or no, the coral something, and then the coral brains.
It's a lot. It's a lot to digest. There's a lot of new stuff here. I think, you know, I hope that players are going to be really happy with the amount of kind of new stuff. I mean, just from a visual standpoint. From
I love the new
HUD.
texture.
Oh yeah, so good.
I mean, it looks beautiful for one, but also the way the affinities work now, I like a lot better in that they're scattered a little bit more, they're spread out a bit more, and they're less. This tech will give you an affinity level.
Right.
And now it's a lot more. Well, this tech here will give you a little bit of XP towards maybe more than one affinity, which ties into the fact that now you've got all those hybrids.
Yep, absolutely. And we've got our first visitors showing up here at turn 15. It's the PAC. Yeah, you know me. And
they're well behaved. They landed on the other side of the planet. I can appreciate that.
So got to get that algae. Love that algae. Just building a couple patrol boats just to get out there and plot the world, see what's happening. Get our trade depot going and start doing some trades, which I know is a favorite activity of yours. You're heavy on the trade side.
Oh, the trade routes are one of the most powerful things to do in, well, any of the modern sort of Civ games, but it's very, very powerful in Beyond Earth. And it's well worth it. It's always hard, you know, whether I tech and build the trade depot as like one of my first buildings or not is actually a really tough decision for me because I do like them tremendously.
Wow.
But you know, more explorers is always good, more workers, an early settler. Although lately I've been doing a lot of the prosperity, so I got my free settler anyway.
Nice. Yeah, it's my favorite virtue tree, hands down, is prosperity. I'll dip into knowledge a little bit because knowledge is power, but for the most part, yeah, prosperity all day, every day. Yeah, so you know, just a lot of new stuff, and one thing we didn't even talk about is the new diplomacy options available. So you've had some time with that. I actually went over it in a separate video. If you're watching this, we have a bunch of videos on our YouTube channel that you'll be able to check out, kind of focused on different things. And so I went in pretty good detail with the new diplomacy options with Andrew, but I'd love to hear kind of what you thought about you know, dipping your toes in the new diplomatic waters.
Well, what sort of snuck up on me is the fact that there's sort of two major aspects to diplomacy, both powered by your political capital, or diplomatic capital. Is that diplomatic capital?
Yeah.
Which you can spend for two things. So first of all, I love the new way you sort of change your relationship stance with an opposing civilization. You can sort of move it up and down in a really sort of obvious way as you sort of tick up and down. And then you've got the specific research agreements you can do. And then you've got these personality traits, which are like, well, if I'm not really doing all these research agreements and I'm not spending my diplomatic capital, I can just give myself a massive buff to a specific field that's important.
Right.
I particularly like the one that just gives you just flat out more percentage science. That's really good. Like I'll probably be investing in that all the time because knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Francis
indeed.
Bacon.
And the thing is, I mean, I know that this is one of the things that people were most asking about. They were very curious about diplomacy. Unfortunately, we didn't really go into it too much up until now. Now I'm so happy to be able to kind of show it and talk about it. And I think it's honestly, I'm so bad at doing that. The camera wants me to go somewhere and I always click away.
Oh, me too. I always interrupt the camera.
And you know, it really does change the game drastically. Like, it is an incredibly deep layer, but the cool thing about it is if you're more of a passive player and you don't want to really engage in kind of diplomacy or part of that like court of politics, you can just kind of stay isolated, but you'll still have an effect on the world just sheerly by just sticking to yourself. That will, you know, change the view of your society to other players, other AI players, other leaders on the map. So it's pretty crazy. We just got a new station here. One of the things to note about stations is they can actually settle in the water now too. So it's not just us. Oh my God, I'm just terrible with that. Another part of the diplomacy is these research agreements. I'm just so used to saying that. We've got Off Law here, which is cool. One of the other new factions for Rising Tide.
Yeah, they look awesome, by the way.
Yeah, they're it's really great. Arsha Kisk, you know, it's female leader, really cool, because in the lore with them is they had the generation ships, which were basically, they weren't like in cryo sleep like everybody else inside of the lore of Beyond Earth. They were having children and living full lives on the spaceship, and some of them have never even seen like the sky. So very cool story with those guys. So, you know, I can't imagine
hey,
Artifact.
Senor
Nice.
Caffeine. That's my favorite one today.
An early 22nd century coffee maker. My eyesight is terrible.
According to some accounts, machines like this one were once used in daily religious rituals throughout the world. I believe it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, with the diplomacy, I think there's a lot of incentive to be a little bit more decisive about picking friends and investing in it into the future, because those agreements are worth so much. And it's not like in sort of vanilla Beyond Earth and even Civ 5, a lot of the diplomacy is mostly like, well, let's make sure they don't attack me, and then I'll sell them some strategic resources to pad out the bank account a little bit. And now all of a sudden it's like tons. One of the research agreements was like, I signed up, it's like free workers. Like, that is huge. Now, both sides are getting it, so now all of a sudden you're having to worry about what impact that's going to have there. So again, a lot of really interesting and meaningful decisions about which agreements to sign up, and of course you've got a limited amount of diplomatic capital to work all those deals.
And I think it's also important to note that, you know, it's, even though each of these sponsors, each of these civs have their own kind of innate stance, innate choice when it comes to the new diplomacy, they can go in any direction. I mean, they can change each time. It's a lot of very dynamic, you know, gameplay elements. So it's like every time you jump into a new game, you're not going to see, you know, Arsha Kish acting the same way every single time. You're not going to get the same kind of canned responses from her every single time. It's all going to be based on a speech compression computer. It's all based on a speech compression computer. But yeah, it's going to be very different. So the artifact stuff, we didn't really talk about that. You've firsthand had some experience in the demo today, kind of using them to craft things. So you kind of basically drag them over here. You can do up to 3, and then you can kind of, right now if I choose to complete the research, this is the yields I get, but if I get a 3rd thing, then I'll get something extra special.
Yeah, so you have to choose whether you're going to cash them right away for a fast bonus, which accelerates your gameplay. Obviously, the earlier you get science or production or whatever, the more of an impact it's going to have over the course of the whole game, or you wait for one of those cool, unique buildings. Yeah,
and that's really kind of a contextual choice, I gotta imagine. I mean, if you're somebody playing on Apollo, you know, like Mr. Quill here, you know, it's very much going to be an in-the-moment thing, but for maybe your more casual players, it might be something where it's like, hey, let me just wait, you know.
Yeah, I think it's going to lend itself to a lot of what I call timing attacks from watching a lot of esports. And you know, if you're about to go to war, you might want to cash in an 84 production boost just to be able to rip out an extra military unit right before the war starts.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah, you've got to wait and get the big payoff.
Oh, the big payoff. That's what it's all about. I'll go north here.
I'll go and settle your first city? Excellent.
Yes. So.
And you have to move one of the cities at some point. Show how that works.
Yeah, actually, we did in the other other video with Mr. Fredrickson. I'm being very terrible with not clicking when I should be clicking. It's you know, I'm very nervous as somebody who's watched many of your videos and actually every Wednesday watches you stream Civilization 5 as part of our Firaxis O'Clock initiative. You know, it's pretty cool to be sitting here next to you and playing Civ.
As it turns out, it's also kind of hard to play video games and talk at the same time.
It's so hard. How have you turned it into a career?
Yeah.
How have you turned it into a thing?
It helps that I'm usually talking about literally what buttons I'm clicking at exactly that moment. But yeah, I do love the look of the Rippers.
Yeah, the Rippers are crazy. I mean, that's...
My favorite thing about them, though, is how easy they are to kill in the late game. Just so satisfying to kill these freaking aliens. Because unlike in Civ 5, where the barbarians eventually sort of fade away and you don't think about them anymore, the aliens are always huge pains in the ass.
Yep.
And it just becomes so satisfying to wipe them out. Killed a Leviathan today with some ships.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing beats that.
Oh, man. Only good bug is a dead bug.
That's right.
Indeed. Nice. And we got some hydrocoral up here, which is, you know,
Yeah,
we've
so
talked
that's
about a
weird.
little bit before. They can be annoying or they can be a godsend depending on how you use them, but if left alone, they will just continue to grow rampantly. Is this Hatama?
Yeah, it looks like Paul Australia to me. Yep.
This is my favorite alcoholic, Hatama. He likes to drink a
Does
lot.
he?
A lot.
Okay.
He is a fan of imbibing alcohol. But yeah.
I did not know that about him. Is that in his backstory?
Yeah, actually, so we did a series of leader profile posts on civilization.com on the blog, and leading
I
up to
don't
the
go
launch of never loaded it, never once. Yeah, so he has like a kind of nice backstory about him, and he loves to have a drink.
In my game, where he landed in basically a similar area when I was playing, I set up a deal with him where we each got +3 trade routes in our capital.
Oh wow!
So another
that's pretty huge.
Big example of the incredible, insane power of those research agreements. That only lasted until I conquered his capital.
Wow!
And then that may have broken the agreement. But
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we can do our research here and construct a unique building. Now keep in mind this is placeholders, game is not finished. That's not going to be a red square when the game ships. But with this building that we unlock, we get +1 culture, but we also get units heal 100% after only 1 turn inside the city.
This is going to be the Xenomass
Crazy.
bathhouses.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Xenomass bathhouse.
When you really, really need to exfoliate all the things.
Oh, good old Xenomass bathhouse. Ugh, that is tough to say. Man, it's not easy doing this play and talk thing. It's tough.
No.
So how did you get started? I mean, how did you decide that this was something you wanted to do? Did you just do a test video once and it kind of got positive feedback and you kept going?
Well, you have to realize, I've had my YouTube account for 9 years.
Wow.
So when I started, the idea of monetizing a YouTube video wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
And then even when some people had started doing that, the idea of being able to monetize game videos was not even a thing. But originally, I started because I was playing some World of Warcraft. And I was in a raiding guild, and we didn't have quite enough people to fill out the entire raid all the time. So a raid is like 20 or 40 people to kill a big boss. So we'd have to just grab some random extra people and bring them along, which meant before every fight, we have to spend the first 10 minutes explaining how to do it, and then they'd screw it up. So I decided, hey, why don't I record these runs, make a video doing either some subtitles or a narration of it, and then when people join in, I just send them the link, they can watch that, and they can actually see it happen.
Wow.
And I did that for a little while, and then I started playing a couple other games, like League of Legends. That was a big thing on my channel. And one day the servers were down. And I was like, I knew some people were doing these sort of Let's Play things, and I really was Civ 4 at the time. I really liked Civ 4. So I was like, hey, maybe I should do one of those. And it really took off. I'm like, all right, that was a lot of fun. So I did that for years and years and years and years before becoming a YouTube partner and then doing that. And so I've been doing this full time for about 1.5 years now because things just got a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I mean crazy in a good way though, right?
Really good, yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's really great to hear. I mean, what's kind of what even is the next step? I mean, is it just kind of continue to keep the cadence of videos up, or is it just, trying to find the next platform that's going to be crazy to put videos out on?
I think the moment I start
a
thinking
webcomic, are we going to get a
Ah!
Quill webcomic?
Oh, I can't
The Adventures
draw.
of Quill18
Yeah.
or something?
Although I've got a friend who does a webcomic about the D&D series that we play together in
nice.
real life. Yeah, my viewers know it's called, we'll make sure to put a link, or go to my Twitter. Go to twitter.com/Quill18 and ask me about it. I'll send you a link. It'll be really easy.
Well, hopefully we have down here, you have some lower thirds.
At
right
Quill18.
about now. I don't know if Tom's even paying attention, Tom. But yeah, at Quill18, definitely follow him on the tweets, on the Twittertron.
Yeah, I mean, I got like all the social media stuff going on, right? But Twitter is the one you want to follow if you just want to hear me just spam you with random crap about how I'm eating pizza and everything. If you only want the for serious stuff, then that's like what I use Facebook for. The only thing you could do there is like when there's a fan meet event. So it's a great building though. What is it? Thermohaline?
Thermohaline rudder.
4 science by itself or something crazy like that?
It's pretty awesome. Hopefully this outpost will become a real adult city one day. But yeah, pretty cool. I don't know if there's anything else we should really show. Seems like now's a good time to delete this guy. I like to do that sometimes just because it makes me feel powerful. And you just delete something from existence, you know? I mean, I'm probably a terrible person for
You're in the middle of the water,
joy.
you're just like taking their boats away from them.
You're like, swim home. Swim home.
Le Kaya.
Le Qua. Is that, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it, man.
Kaya.
Kaya? Is that really it?
It's hard with the multiple syllable sounds that you get in French. Can be hard for pure Anglophones to say sometimes. A lot of European languages have those sorts of things in there. Although my French, people yell at me all the time for my French accent because I'm Northern Ontario French, it's my first language. But I always say that's like someone from the deep South speaking English. You know how there's like a deep, different accent going on there?
Yeah.
That's my French.
Oh, okay.
Very colloquial. But yeah, those words like that, there's a few. The EU sounds tend to get people.
It's tough. I took German in high school, so when I see 2 vowels next to each other, I want to pronounce the second one and ignore the first one.
Oh, really?
But yeah, that's usually how it is in German. So if it's EI, you pronounce a hard I and ignore the E.
I learned about 3 German words. That was about it. But it was
enough to get by.
Yeah. Turns out as long as you can ask for beer, you're pretty set.
Nice.
Yeah.
And beer is just beer in German
I know.
anyway. So
see, that was one of my words.
All right, cool. Let's go back to the studio here and we'll sign off. Again, thank you very much, Quill, for joining me today. You should check out his YouTube channel and subscribe to it. It's youtube.com/Quill18, and that'll take you directly there. Hopefully you're already subscribed to the Civilization channel, which is youtube.com/Civ. Very excited to be finally showing you guys some Rising Tide gameplay footage. The game launches this fall, and you'll be able to grab it on Steam and anywhere. Where would you even buy games outside of Steam? Like, who buys games outside of Steam?
Well, even if you buy it outside of Steam, you end up getting your Steam key anyway.
Yeah, there you go. So get it on Steam. Buy it on Steam. But thank you very much, Quill, for joining me today. This is pretty fun, and I can check this off the bucket list. So very cool. And thank you guys for watching. We've got plenty of other videos. If you made it all the way to the end here, click that next one and watch some more Rising Tide footage. Thank you, guys.